Impact investing was not created to be mainstreamed. Mainstream has to become impact investing. My name is Vineet Rai. I'm the founder of Aavishkaar Group. When I started, I had a very single point agenda. I can convince capital to unleash entrepreneurial energy of people living in low income societies. And if they can solve large social problems at scale using commercial capital. So I was really trying to convince for-profit entrepreneurs to solve social problems at scale. And I wanted to provide risk capital to them. I had no idea what I was saying. All these words I learned over a period of time. I was 29-year-old. India had no startup ecosystem. There were no venture funds. So it was very early at that time. Over a period of time, it was slow, but I could clearly see that entrepreneurs were making a big difference. I think a lot of people here don't even understand how the term impact investing came together, because when I started, there was nothing called impact investing. So none of us knew what we were doing. I was actually a forester who was committed to take capital to rural India. That was basically what I was doing. And I didn't call myself an impact investor because the term didn't exist. In 2005, I went across the world. I went to New York, I went to San Francisco, I went to Oxford, and I met a lot of people. And generally, when I met people, they asked me, so what do you do? And I said, oh, I invest. Who do you give money to? Is it startup? Are you a venture VC? Are you a venture capital? No, I'm like a VC, but not a VC. So are you a private equity? I'm not really, but yes, similar, we give money. So I realized that there is a challenge of people trying to slot us, especially if you are an endowment or you are a foundation. And then I met Rockefeller. Anthony Bugg-Levine had just taken over as MD, and Rockefeller was searching for a new idea to back. 15 or 20 of us met in Rockefeller Center in Bellagio to find a name that could actually make all of us go by. And Anthony was kind enough to say, Vineet, I'll give $500,000 to you, but put $1 million to popularize the name. So I said, see, if you're going to put $1 million behind anything, even Timbuktu will work. So whatever name. There was a gentleman called John Goldstein who said, we have to be very impactful. So that's how impact investing came through. Because we were talking about social finance, micro venture, social finance, rural investing, and then that impactful thing became impactful, and that's how impact investing came through. So there is no great science to the whole thing. But impact investing with the power of $1 million over next 2 years went from every nook and corner. And so therefore impact is very contextual. And I always ask, so who do you want to impact and whose point of view? So is it the Swiss point of view or the American point of view, or is it the Mumbai point of view, that is mine, or is it the person who is being impacted, their point of view? And I told them, therefore, when you start asking us to quantify impact, it's a very challenging task. So when we started looking at going outside India, I did nothing. I actually put in a compass and drove a circle which is within 6 hours from where you are. Our theory is that if you are within 6 hours from where you are investing, then chances are you will be able to understand the context better. Or you have to build local capabilities. So in 2013, we put the compass, drew a line, and Indonesia, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and East Africa came into that compass. So not a great application of mine. And the second question, as I said, I asked, how many people are there? There seem to be a significant amount of people. So these were the two reasons of how and why we expanded. I was trying to return capital. Jacqueline was raising philanthropy to do the same thing. And Bridges was trying to do a commercial activity. So three of us started same time, same year, without knowing each other, doing almost similar things. All of us have been together trying to pioneer new sectors where capital never used to go. And I think whether it is waste, water, India's first toilet company, basically how do you provide dignity to people? We invested in a company that's just waste recycling. At that time it was doing, I think, 5 lakh rupee turnover. Today it is around 300 crores. It's India's largest waste recycling. So you're effectively taking basic ideas and then integrating the waste collectors, the lowest. I mean, when somebody moves into a city, the first job you get is actually, if you are a beggar, that's the first job you get into. And it's actually a very ugly job. So how do you actually get them into professional life cycle? So NEPRA is actually doing 700 metric tons of waste recycling. When we invested in them, they were doing 200 kgs of waste recycling. The issues are, do people have opportunities? Can they participate? So we used to talk about a pyramid and bottom of the pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid meant you don't have access, you don't have participation in the economy, and therefore you don't have ambition. This was what the challenges were. Because of the penetration of internet and mobile phones, I think the pyramid of aspiration is flat. But the pyramid of resource and access exists. That means people don't have resources, don't have access. And pyramid of aspiration, if it is not backed up by pyramid of resource and access, it will create revolutions. And therefore, there is a very urgent need for more capital to move in so that millions of people who want to become entrepreneurs and solve for the world or solve the problems of their own communities need to have the access as well. Capital has to be backed by intellectual capital, talent and capability. So really the challenge is to provide all the three. And the challenges will keep changing because the world, if you are taking people from destitute to economically active to earning income and then to providing for others, you need to actually keep pushing the level up. And the challenges change. So from toilets to actually good homes, to better electricity, to better education, to better health, those things will never end. We have to agree that government has the biggest role in delivering development to the people coming from the bottom of the pyramid. Entrepreneurs will always play a support role, but what I see is the difference between the hard and the soft side. The hard side comes from the government, so roads, ports, building cannot be done by entrepreneurs. Electricity, but once that is done, then entrepreneurs can actually use those roads and infrastructure to actually put in the soft skills and capabilities needed for people from the lower economic strata to participate in the economic progress of the country. And that's where the entrepreneurs' roles are.